Hello there, I'm Haylena Krishnamoorthy and you're tuned in to 7Edition. The headlines. Cloud seeding to be carried out urgently in Peninsular Malaysia and Sarawak, says Met Department. Malaysians reminded not to play up sensitive issues. And Typhoon Faxai sends Tokyo commute in chaos. We begin tonight's bulletin with this story. The Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al Mustafa Billah Shah today reminded all Malaysians not to play up sensitive issues in the interests of any party. Al Sultan Abdullah said that every citizen has been promised rights and freedoms in accordance with the Federal Constitution, but that freedom must not go beyond the values that are fundamental to national unity. Al Sultan Abdullah said this when gracing the investiture ceremony of federal awards and honours held in conjunction with the official birthday of Yang di-Pertuan Agong at Istana Negara.
Begitu juga dalam agenda politik, mesti ada noktah dan batasan yang tidak harus kita langgar. Jika polemik politik dibiarkan berlarutan, lambat laun rakyat juga yang akan mendapat padahnya. Percayalah, perpaduan dan keamanan yang telah kita bina selama 62 tahun ini, jika hilang, akan sukar untuk dikembalikan. Dan nasihat beta, buanglah yang keruh dan ambillah yang jernih. Mana-mana yang tercela, rawatilah segera agar yang retak akan kembali bertaut.
Al Sultan Abdullah also lauded all efforts taken by the government in facing the increasingly challenging economic and geopolitical environment. This, he said, included various measures to strengthen the country's economy and finances while addressing the cost of living and eradicating poverty. His Majesty also expressed thanks to the government under the leadership of Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, members of Cabinet, civil servants and security forces personnel who had been loyal in discharging duties. Al Sultan Abdullah also thanked the staff of Istana Negara for the services rendered to His Majesty in performing his duties as the head of state. Meanwhile, the ceremony held in conjunction with his official birthday is the first after Al Sultan Abdullah was installed, the 16th Yang di-Pertuan Agong on July 30th. His Majesty arrived at Istana Negara with Raja Permaisuri Agong Tunku Haja Aziza Aminah Maimuna Iskandaria and were welcomed by Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad and Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Aziza Wan Ismail. In conjunction with the King's official birthday this year, a total of 795 individuals will be conferred federal awards and honours. Of these, 42 received their awards today, including Chief Justice Tan Sri Tengku Maimun Tuan Mat. At the same event, Tun Dr. Mahathir said the government is committed to rehabilitating the country and liberating it from corruption and abuse of power. He said this was being done by strengthening the country's administration based on the rule of law principle and separation of powers as enshrined in the Federal Constitution.
InsyaAllah, impact positif inisiatif yang dilaksanakan oleh kerajaan akan dapat dirasai rakyat. Semua pandangan dan maklum balas rakyat akan diambil kira untuk memastikan gagasan kemakmuran bersama ini menjadi milik keseluruhan rakyat tuanku. Beribu-ribu ampun. Sembah pati mohon diampun. Menghadap
Tun Dr. Mahathir said the government would also respect and defend the sovereignty of the institution of constitutional monarchy and the position of Islam as federal religion. The Prime Minister also assured that the government would safeguard the Malay and Bumiputra special privileges and the rights of other races as stated in the federal constitution. On the 62nd National Day celebration recently, he said the event had brought the unity and solidarity of the multiracial people in the country into prominence. This, he said, proved that Malaysians can come together and share a common value in a very harmonious way, regardless of their race, background and beliefs. A cloud seeding operation aimed at reducing the effects of the worsening haze in the country will be conducted urgently when atmospheric conditions permit. Meteorological or MET Department Director General Jailan Simon said this would depend on the wind direction and cloud formation in the areas involved. According to Jailan, the operation could not be carried out in Kuching, Sarawak last night due to the unfavorable wind conditions despite the availability of clouds.
Jadi kalau kita buat pemberian awan di kawasan Kuching, semua ni pun dia takkan berhasil lah. Kita perlu buat di kawasan ni. Tapi kawasan ni dia pun dah bergerak ke sana. So kalau kita lakukan pemberian awan pun dia akan jatuh di laut. Dia tidak akan jatuh di kawasan daratan.
Jailan added the department was in a state of readiness to conduct the operation in cooperation with the National Disaster Management Agency and the Royal Malaysia Air Force. He also said the monsoon season is only expected to arrive at the end of September or early October, with the hot conditions to prevail for another week. Earlier, State Deputy Chief Minister Dato' Amar Douglas Unga Ambas had said that the earliest possible date for cloud seeding to be done in Sarawak is this Thursday. Meanwhile, 6 Chunghua primary schools in Kuching will be closed tomorrow due to the haze. The chairman of the management board for Kuching Chunghua Primary Schools number 1 to 6, Wong Tieng Hu, said the decision was made based on the Air Pollution Index, API, which was on the very unhealthy range in the last 24 hours. The public are urged at these times to reduce outdoor activities, wear masks, drink plenty of water and avoid conducting open burning activities. Information on the weather forecast also can be accessed through the Met Malaysia website or the My Cuaca app. Moving on, residents of Taman Bunga Raya in Bukit Beruang, Melaka were shocked to find what appeared to be 2 grenades in a compound of a house. The owner of the house, aged 43, found both objects while cleaning the area at around 9:30 a.m. Melaka Tengah Police Chief ACP Afzal Nizar Ahmad said a bomb squad team from the contingent police headquarters rushed to the scene upon receiving a distress call 10 minutes later. Initial investigation showed that the objects were active smoke grenades which still had their safety pins attached but with no serial numbers on them. Police are now trying to ascertain its owners. The grenades were taken to the police headquarters to be destroyed. In Kelantan, police remanded 11 people in connection with the murder of a man whose burnt body was found riddled with stab wounds near a riverbank at Kampung Sungai Puyu, Pasir Putih last Wednesday. The 11 individuals aged between 16 and 55 were picked up separately in the district and 2 neighbouring districts between last Saturday and yesterday. State CID Chief ACP 1 Khairuddin 1 Idris said that the suspects were detained to facilitate a police investigation into the murder of the 26-year-old victim from Jerte, Terengganu. Based on the preliminary investigation, despite the multiple stab wounds on the body, the postmortem showed the victim, whose remains were also 20% burned, died after being struck by a blunt object on his head. It was believed that there had been a misunderstanding between the victim and one of the suspects over a woman, which might have led to his killing. The case is now being investigated under the Penal Code for murder. Now, 13 youths aged between 9 to 15 have been detained for performing dangerous stunts on the road using modified bicycles in Kajang, Selangor yesterday. They were caught during a police operation called Op Basikal Laja at about 6 p.m. after their activities were detected by the district traffic police team. Acting like road thugs, the youngsters raced down the slope at Jalan Impian Makmur up to Sekolah Sarjana Impian in Sarjana Impian pretending to be Superman. All detained are from the neighbourhood and they were taken to the Kajang Traffic Police headquarters for further action while their bicycles have been confiscated. The case is now being investigated under the Road Transport Act. 99 Chinese couples said their marriage vows in a mass wedding ceremony at the Tian Hao Temple in Kuala Lumpur today. For them, the 9th day of the 9th month of the year and the number 99 are considered auspicious as well as signifying long-lasting happiness. The ceremony at the temple was an annual event for couples seeking a Buddhist wedding. Witnessed by hundreds of relatives and friends, the couples, many in white bridal gowns and black suits, exchanged kisses and tight hugs at the temple steps. The couples also hoped that the auspicious date will bring them good luck and prosperity in their marriage. This, as the number 9 in Chinese sounds like the word longevity. After they were blessed by a priest, the couples then took part in a group photograph together. Let's take a short break, but when we return, scores of animals die at the cause of an irresponsible act. Details next. Thanks for staying with us. Now, as Hurricane Dorian lashes Canada and Japan, one of the strongest typhoon that battered Tokyo overnight with ferocious winds and violent rain caused commuter chaos on Monday morning, with trains halted and more than 100 flights cancelled. More than 900,000 homes have been left without power and after Faxai made landfall with winds of up 210 kilometers per hour. As the storm approached, evacuation warnings were issued to more than 390,000 people in Kanagawa, Shizuoka and Tokyo prefectures. Typhoon Faxai made landfall in Chiba just east of the capital before dawn after barreling through Tokyo Bay. About 5,000 people in the prefecture and Kanagawa prefectures, which lost power entirely at one stage, were ordered to evacuate. The storm then moved over Tokyo and paralyzed transport, leaving major subway stations crammed full of commuters, all stuck waiting for bullet trains and subway services that had shut down. Authorities reported the train services gradually resumed mid-morning, but all lines are still experiencing delays. So far, one death has been reported. A woman in her 50s, who was found unconscious after being smashed against a building by strong winds, died on the way to the hospital. 10 others have been hospitalized for various injuries. Photos show flooded streets littered with downed trees and branches. Workers are tending to signposts and lamps that had blown over. Employees at the Higashi Chiba train station inspected the roof, which was twisted and torn apart. Scaffoldings collapsed at a parking lot at Haneda Airport in Tokyo, and a small building entirely damaged. There are also widespread blackouts. Nearly 1 million households are without power, including the entire islands of Shikinijima and Oshima off the country's south coast. The typhoon is now forecast to move northeast away from Japan and into the Pacific over the next day, with maximum wind speeds expected to weaken to kilometers per hour by Tuesday. However, experts warn risks of flooding and landslides and the public to avoid going outdoors. There are also fears the storm could worsen severe food shortages in the country. Now, more than 100 flights to and from airports in the Tokyo area were cancelled on Monday, including 49 Japan Airlines flights and 41 by All Nippon Airways. The entire Keikyu rail line, which connects Tokyo and Yokohama to Haneda Airport, is still suspended. Meanwhile, at the Narita International Airport, main roads are gridlocked because of the destruction caused by the storm, while all trains have been suspended. Due to this, passengers at the airport are facing difficulties to get to their homes in Japan and are left stranded at the airport's lounges. British Airways BA announced on Monday it has been forced to cancel nearly 100% of its flights from UK airports. This after British Airlines Pilots Association, BALPA, called for a strike amid heated dispute over pay with the airline. In a statement, the airline said it remains willing to return to talks with the British Airline Pilots Association, BALPA. Earlier on Sunday, BALPA tweeted that it made a proposal to BA on Wednesday but had yet to receive a reply. Pilots are to continue their strike on Tuesday and are threatening to strike for one more day on September 27th and then possibly again closer to the winter holidays should the dispute rage on. While the BALPA is demanding higher wages, BA said its offer of an 11.5% increase over 3 years proposed in July is fair and above the nation's current inflation rate. The UK flag carrier and its 4,300 pilots have been locked in a 9-month pay dispute that could disrupt the travel plans of nearly 300,000 people. Now let's hop on to our daily segment Clickbait, where we take a look at what's trending and making rounds in the cyber world today. Recently, over 40 cows and countless wild animals were found dead across an estate in Kulai, Johor. This now prompted the Malaysia Animal Association to call out the owner of these cattle on their Facebook page, where they demanded the owner to be dragged to court over the irresponsible actions. In the post on Saturday, the association wrote that the incident was due to numerous rat poison scattered across an estate, which did not expect visits from these animals, trespassing the plantation and accidentally consuming the poison. They also pointed out that letting the cows roam free is no longer suitable for the world we live in today, urging the farm stock owners to switch to a cattle fencing method immediately. Some netizens also slammed the irresponsible farm stock owners for their negligence, calling the incident a good lesson for them to learn from, while others say the estate's owner too should be held responsible for scattering the poison without due diligence. Welcome back. Malaysia is hopeful of a positive and constructive outcome of the new round of trade talks between the United States and China in early October. Economic Affairs Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Azmin Ali said the ongoing US-China trade war is detrimental to the interests of all nations, including Malaysia. In a statement today, Datuk Seri Azmin said Malaysia must also continue to strengthen its relationship with its ASEAN partners. He said, working within such a multilateral framework is beneficial for all ASEAN member countries, apart from collaborating with China and the US. It was reported that both Beijing and Washington had yet again raised tariffs on September 1st, with the latter planning on adding more on October 1st. Trade between the two economic powerhouses plummeted in August, despite the planned October negotiations aimed at ending the tariff war. Back home, the tense situation has prompted many local businesses to consider shifting their supply bases away from the US and China. Malaysia has seen a rising number of tourist arrivals from Japan, particularly since the country's change of government in May last year. Tourism Malaysia, Japan attributed this to several factors, including Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamed's popularity globally. Its Osaka office Deputy Director Shahrul Nazri Shaharuddin said the notable increase bodes well for the declining number of Japanese tourists visiting Malaysia in the past.
Memang ada nampak peningkatan ketara daripada berbanding dengan tahun lepas, di mana kita dapat lihat peningkatan daripada Januari hingga Jun tahun ni sebanyak 5.6% increase kenaikan berbanding tahun lepas. Ini kita dapati banyak dan terdapat banyak permintaan daripada kalangan pelancong-pelancong Jepun untuk mula kembali ke pasaran Malaysia.
The number of Japanese tourists visiting Malaysia this year is expected to beat the 394,540 recorded last year. Among the top destinations most visited by the group include Kuala Lumpur, Penang, Malacca and Sabah. Other factors that contributed to the growing number of Japanese tourist arrivals in Malaysia include social media influencers and school trips. I'm Haylena Krishnamoorthy. Thanks for tuning in and have a good night.